Okay guys, let's review our reviews lesson about reading and writing Arabic and Thai numeral up to 1000. So we will go here at letter or number 1. Write the following Arabic numerals in Thai numerals. Here, the Arabic, and then you can write it in Thai. And also here in number 2, you need to write it in Arabic from Thai. Okay, here is the next. The example 12,425. So you need to write it in Arabic. And just like here at letter A, 9,755, you need to write it also in Arabic. Okay, writing Arabic. You understand? And also here in writing words, so this is the number and you're gonna write it in words. Okay, did you answer it already? And also here, fill in the blanks. Okay, did you answer this one? And here in exercise 3, the number patterns. Oh, you can see if it's addition or subtraction, or you need to add the number or you need to minus the number. Okay, here is it. Now this is only the review because you need to go to the next one. Okay, here and here. Okay guys, here are the patterns. Terms, numbers, growing patterns, shrinking patterns, repeating patterns. And here are the different parts of the pattern: adding, subtraction, and multiplication. Okay class, now we will go to the growing pattern. So let's watch it and I hope you understand it, okay?
In this growing pattern, here with every successive term, we are adding 11 to the term. So to find out next term or the 8th term, we will add 11 to 77. 77 plus 11, we get 88. So 8th term would be 88. There is another way too. Here we can see that every term is term number multiplied by 11. Like the term number 1 is 11 multiplied by 1, that is 11. Term number 3 is 3 multiplied by 11, that is 33. Term 4 is 4 multiplied by 11, that is 44. So, if we have to find out the ninth term, we can say that it will be 9 multiplied by 11, which is equal to 99. Now, let's see more examples of growing patterns. Here, what should be the next term? Here we have two ways to find the next term. One is we are adding 2 to every next term. 2 plus 2, we are getting 4. 4 plus 2, we are getting 6. 6 plus 2, we are getting 8. Other way is we are multiplying term number with 2 to get the term number 1 is 1 multiplied by 2. Term number 2 is 2 multiplied by 2. Term number 3 is 3 multiplied by 2. Term number 4 is 4 multiplied by 2. So finding next term or eighth term here, we can multiply 8 with 2. We can get 16. Or we can add 2 to the seventh term. That is, adding 2 to 14, we get 16. Now, how they look at more examples of growing patterns. This is an example of growing pattern. Here we are adding 3 with each successive term. Here is another growing pattern. Here we are multiplying with 3, like the first term is 5. Second term is first term multiplied with 3. Now the next term is 15 multiplied with 3. And the next term is 45 multiplied with 3. And the next term is 135 multiplied with 3. Now, let's learn another type of pattern. It is shrinking patterns. Here is an example. Here, the numbers are decreasing with every term. Exactly opposite to growing patterns, where the numbers increase by each successive term. Now, let's find out what the next terms for this pattern is. Here, we are subtracting 10 with every term. 90 minus 10, we get 80. 80 minus 10, we get 70. 70 minus 10, we get 60. And so on. So next eighth term would be subtracting 10 from the seventh term. 30 minus 10, that is 20. So eighth term would be 20. Let's have a look at more shrinking patterns. Here we have a shrinking pattern. Here, what should be the next term? See here, we are subtracting 7 with every successive term. So the next term would be 7 minus 7, that is. The next term would be 0. Here we have another shrinking pattern. Each term decreases with the growing term number. So these are shrinking patterns. Let's have a look at some other type of patterns. They are repeating patterns. Here, the number 2, 4, 6, and getting repeated. So, it's a repeating pattern, as the numbers 2, 4, 6 are repeating. What should come in the blank space here? In any repeating pattern, we first find the core pattern, that is the term that's getting repeated. And then we can repeat it any times to grow the pattern. Here, the core pattern is 2 or 6. So according to core pattern 6 would come after 4. Now let's have a look at more repeating patterns. These are some examples of repeating patterns. So kids, today we learned about patterns, terms, term numbers, and 3 types of patterns: growing patterns, shrinking patterns, repeating patterns.
Do you understand our lesson for today, class? Goodbye, class, and see you tomorrow. Take care.